Welcome to Across the Gulf Coast, highlighting organizations, events, and people from around our local community.
Hello and welcome to this month's episode of Across the Gulf Coast. I'm Cam Johnson and I'm happy that you're able to join us tonight as we've got a great show in store for you for this month. It is a very busy month going on all across the Gulf Coast. We're going to talk art, a little bit of Egg Fest, and we're also going to visit with the ARC of the Emerald Coast. But we're kicking it all off with several sporting events taking place in Pensacola and across Escambia County. And joining me to talk about that is Jason Libbert. He is the events manager for the Pensacola Sports Association. Jason, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So this time of year, it gets really busy across the Gulf Coast, and especially for you guys with a very busy November.
Yeah.
But first, you have an event towards the end of October that I know you're really gearing up for, and is always an exciting time. So tell us a little bit about what's going on at Roger Scott.
Yeah, the fall is a busy time for us, starting with the Roger Scott or the Bud Light Charity Tennis Tournament at Roger Scott Tennis Center, October 23rd and 24th. It started after Hurricane Ivan as a fundraiser for Rebuild Northwest Florida. Since then, Arc Gateway has been a major benefactor of that, along with the Pensacola Sports Association. Great two-day event, tennis tournament, a lot of fun. We have a great silent auction. We can have about 120 players total, two-person men's and two-person women's teams. So that's October 23rd and 24th at Roger Scott Tennis Center.
Okay, so let's move on. There we got a lot to touch on, so I want to move on from that one. But I want to spend a little bit more time on the next one with the marathon.
Yeah,
a great event for you guys here in Pensacola, and there's different aspects to the marathon. It's just not one race.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about that.
This is the 11th annual Pensacola Marathon, presented by Publix again this year. It's the only full marathon in the Pensacola area. There's other halves, but this is the only full marathon. There's other categories involved with it, like you mentioned. There's the full marathon. There's a relay, so you and three other people can come and run 6 to 7 miles each, a leg of the event, and run the full event. We have a wheelchair division. We have a half marathon runner and a half marathon walker. And new this year, we added a 5K. So really what we're looking for the 5K is for those local people who aren't quite ready or trained yet to run a half or full marathon. They can come out there and participate in the event. But also those people traveling from out of town with their spouse or friend for the half or full, now we have a 5K that they can be a part of the event as well. November 8th is the date, starts at 6:30, runs a nice run all down Scenic, up near the airport, downtown. Really takes the runners to a good tour of the Pensacola area. On November 6th and 7th, we have a 2-day packet pickup and expo at the Crown Plaza in downtown. We'll have about 30 vendors out there, really health and expo, chance for them to get some last minute products or services right before the event.
Sure. So you mentioned you can come in, say the husband or wife could run the full, the spouse could run the 5K or the half, but then can't forget about the kids. You also have an event for the kids.
Absolutely, yeah. We don't leave anyone out. So the Subway Kids Marathon is a kind of event in with itself, but tied in with the event. And kind of the basis of this is the kids have 2 months basically to run 25 miles. A mile today, a half mile tomorrow, a quarter mile if they can. Log those 25 miles beforehand, and then they come on the day of the event on November 8th and run the final 1.2 miles. So a really neat way for the kids and the families and the parents to get involved and have a nice little activity as a family.
Absolutely.
After you get done dinner, go out there and run a half mile. There's a neat interactive log, subwaykidsmarathon.com, that kind of tracks them and gives them tips and coupons and everything. So they get a start on the big start line and run the final 1.2. They get a finish under the finish line, all the crowd cheering. They get a medal, the T-shirts, the whole 9 yards.
And if somebody wants to register for all this, you mentioned the subwaykidsmarathon.com, but how about for the full marathon?
Yep, it's marathonpensacola.com, subwaykidsmarathon.com. Our website is pensacolasports.com, and you can get links from all that as well.
So any of those three will work.
That's right.
All right, so let's move on to volleyball. We got about 2 minutes left, so a couple more events to touch on here. So you have a volleyball tournament coming up, correct?
Yep, this is the Florida Community State college association, especially junior college, if you will, of
Sure.
the state. 8 junior college teams are going to be coming up to Pensacola to play for the state championship to try and qualify to go to the national championship. That's going on the same weekend as the Pensacola Marathon. So that's going to go happen at Gulf Breeze Rec Center. So we're going to have marathon runners out here and then college volleyball players.
Okay, and then the Pensacola Futures also taking place in November. Very, very busy November
It
for
is.
you guys.
Yeah,
Gluttons for punishment.
Absolutely. No, we enjoy it. And obviously, you see there's 4 different types of sports. So the Pensacola Futures is a pro USTA event. It's the kind of like the AAA, the AA of tennis, if you will. These are phenomenal tennis players, but we've got probably over 150 tennis players coming from around the world, and it's about a 2-week tournament at the Roger Scott Tennis Center on the clay courts.
Okay. Then we got about a minute left, but I want to talk about the Subway All-Star Series.
Yeah.
That, of course, is coming up at the latter part of this year. Tell me a little bit about those 2 events that you have planned.
Subway High School All-Star Volleyball is the Thursday before Thanksgiving, and football is in December. It's the last chance for seniors in Escambia, Okaloosa, and Santa Rosa County to play one last All-Star game. We have a banquet, practices. We give them a jersey. It's a lot of fun for them.
Okay. Before we leave, though, there was some good news that recently came out of the PSA. Some recognition. What can you tell me about that?
The Florida Sports Foundation came in a while back and awarded Ray Palmer, which is our executive director, and the PSA the Florida Sports Leadership Award for all the different sports commissions. I believe there's 27 in the state. So, great accomplishment for Ray and the staff, and for what we do for sports tourism in the area.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's great for the recognition, like you said, for this area to recognize Ray like that, and all the work that you guys do there at the Pensacola Sports Association. We really appreciate everything you do for the community.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for your support. Busy month for us. A lot of different people, locals and tourists coming in town for sports.
Yeah, outstanding. Jason, thank you so much for being my guest today. I appreciate it. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll be joined by the Great Gulf Coast Arts Festival.